presentation that was sent by Sport Aurora this afternoon. So that's why I felt very comfortable in the information. I know it was late and not a lot of time to absorb, but we know what the sport plan is all about, and it was very significant. It's very significant to us. So for me, again, just going back to the original motion where we're drawing this from reserves, it's not a tax implication, and it's delivering on a commitment that we promised our residents and when we approved this plan. For us to even consider stopping it worries me. I'm just glad that we were able to justify where the funds would come to carry on, and then looking to the group to carry on the great work done once the plan's implemented. I could be wrong, but that's how I read this afternoon.
Any other comments or questions? Madam Clerk, just to be clear on the motion, could you read it for us again, please?
That the Sport Aurora funding be approved in principle and be taken out of the council contingency fund pending a further report.
Thank you. So that would be a 0 on your option list. 0 money, yes. 0 tax levy. Yes. All right. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you. No clapping. The last one is the additional training that we just put that in tonight. Questions, comments, Councillor Abel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's to the fact that we had 28 staff turnover. There is a cost to hiring and retraining. I know there's a gap that we have some savings, but to bring someone new in and train them, there is a tremendous expense as well when you consider that. I was just through you, Mr. Mayor, I would ask the CAO to perhaps provide a comment if you would.
Mr. CAO.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, there certainly is, particularly when, especially for the more senior roles, it's also an opportunity to change the roles or fine-tune the roles for other people in the organization. So there is usually quite a gap that's created, and sometimes we generate even more training needs beyond the individuals coming into the organization to get people doing the right work at the right time. So it's true.
And that's a cost.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councillor Gardner. Councillor please.
Do we do exit interviews so that we know why people are leaving?
Mr. CAO.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we have started doing exit interviews for everybody that leaves.
You'd have to ask the public that one. Councillor Humphries, Councillor Perry.
So along that same train of thought, Mr. Mayor, high turnover, were there just natural attrition, retirements? Is there percentages on, why people left working closer to home? Was it a lot of job dissatisfaction and because they didn't get the training they were promised?
To you, Mr. Chair, I'd really, as I attempted to answer this question somewhat earlier, I'd really want to, I wouldn't want to generalize too much. I'd like to break it down and give you more accurate information. But there's a cross section of all of those things. There's certainly, again, as I said earlier, in the management roles, it's more often an opportunity that arises within the region that is either a better setup for them personally, closer to home, closer to family, that sort of thing, less of a commute, and to some degree combined with a new opportunity. So at the higher levels, that's certainly a bigger factor. But there's a smattering of all the things. There's some retirements. There's some people that just weren't happy here and found greener pastures, and we can expect that as well.
No, that's fair, absolutely, and yeah, because I don't think, I don't want to blame the whole exit because of training. So one of the things that would be great, I know you're going to come back with this, is how much of that percentage previous was for mandatory training, that's required, and that's all I'll say right now. Thanks. I hear listen to
Thank you,
others.
Councillor. Any other speakers? I apologize, Councillor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to clarify, Doug, from what you've been told, people aren't leaving the municipality overwhelmingly because they can't take a course? Take a course?
Mr. CAO.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't think many people would cover that in the next interview, saying the reason they didn't leave is they didn't get a course. But, you know, in a more general way, to be fair, people, certainly part of their decision-making is around what they think their opportunities are to succeed in the organization and to promote to the next level. And certainly if they don't see the organization's interest in helping them move to the next level, be that through training or be that through opportunities that they're given. I'm not saying it's just training, but I think it's fair to say that training plays a major role in building an attractive place for people to work if they know they're going to be invested in.
That was it, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments? Councilor Marcus?
I just want to make one statement. I think loyalty works both ways.
My experience with training is that it's one of the intangibles in an organization. It's part of the culture of a corporation. And I think probably to Councillor Kim's point, you would be very difficult to track who leaves or who comes to an organization because of the training directly, but I think it's part of one of the intangibles. But to a point that Councillor Thompson has mentioned on more than one occasion, when you see someone taking Word and Excel training, you kind of wonder what the heck's going on. So I think this is one that I would support pending some more information coming back from the CAO in terms of where we sit. As was pointed out, we've actually increased the training budget this year from $100,000 to $140,000, so that's a 40% increase. There's some mandatory training which is not included in here. So I think I would support it as an item to come back at a point in the future after the CAO has had a chance to look into this a bit more. With our new HR manager, I think there's an opportunity there to look at that. Any other comments or questions on this? Thank you. Good discussion, Council. At this point, we have our sheet, and your sheet at this point should be modified so that the two items are the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame is at zero levy funding, excuse me, and Sport Aurora ongoing operations is also at zero levy funding. So if you could put your reading on the other, and then for those keen people who've already done it, the CAO is going to run around, and then we'll take just a quick break while Mr. Elliott massages those numbers. Okay, why don't I call a 5-minute recess, please? Abel, Maracus. All in favor? Contrary? Carried.